This is the video for Adaptive Solutions Online, an 8-year financial projection project. So you're a supervisor in the finance department for this company, and they've asked you to create a worksheet for a flagship product that will project the annual gross margin, total expenses, so on and so forth, right? All kinds of information management will need. There's 3 parts to the assignment. In the first part, we're going to create the worksheet. In the second part, you're going to create a chart to present the data. And in the third part, you'll use GoalSeek to analyze 3 different sales scenarios. So I don't have a draft for this. You're going to need to start from scratch. So the first thing we're going to do is open up a blank workbook in Excel. And we're going to apply the Celestial theme and bold the entire worksheet. If you can't find the Celestial theme, because that sometimes happens, then just do something similar. This is what it looks like. It's kind of got a bluish purple. We'll go home and we should hit bold, and that should be good. So we want to enter the worksheet title, Adaptive Solutions, in A1. And subtitle, 8-year financial project for product X. In A2, we want to format the worksheet title, and it's not bolding, so what we'll do is there you go. We'll just highlight the whole thing. Format the worksheet title in cell A1 to 28-point Aharoni. And the subtitle to 18-point Aharoni. And the system date in I2 using the now function. So to enter the system date in I2, there we go. So we've got I2 selected. We want to do the now function. Click on now, say OK. We want to change the format of the date so that it's 14 March 12 style. So when you go up to format, you go to format cells, and then you go over here to date. You do the 14 March 12. And it changes it. Change the following column widths. So A, we want that to be 24, so we can actually say format column width 24. B through I, 14. So we can highlight B through I, go to format, column width 14. Change row heights of 7. Scroll over. Here we go. So we want to highlight 7, press and hold Control, 15, 17, 19. And if you move your cursor or your roller down on your mouse, you can see 22. Let up off the Control and go up to format, row height, and we want to enter 18. Enter the 8 column titles year 1 through year 8 in the ranges B3 through I3 by entering year 1 in B3 and then dragging that fill handle through. So we want to go through I. There you go. We want to increase the font size on that to 12. We want to center and italicize. And we want to angle its contents counterclockwise. We want to enter the row titles in the range A4 through A19. Change the font in the cells A7, A15, A17, 19 to 14 points. So add a thick border box. So let's get these text in here before we move on to how we want to format. So we'll start in A4, enter, and go down to cost of goods, gross margin, expenses, advertising, maintenance, rent, and salaries. Is there anything else? Oh, yep. Shipping, supplies, web services, total expenses. We're going to skip one. Operating income, income tax, net income. Now, let's change the font in cells. Let's choose A7 and then press and hold Control, A15, A17, and A19. We're going to make that 14 point Aharoni. And we're going to add a thick bottom border to the range B3 through I3. So B3 through I3. Let's do a, what did I say? A bottom border. Thick bottom border. And then B5 through I5. Oops. Another thick bottom border. We want to use the increase indent button to increase the indent of the row titles in A5. So right here, we're going to click on A5, and we're going to do increase indent. And we want to do it again, A8 through A14. And again in A18. The reason we're doing that is that we're creating a visually more eye-appealing document. When you add white space, it helps your eyes, a person's eyes, your audience's eyes, to be able to sort of focus on what they're doing. When everything's jumbled together, it's really hard to read. All right, so we want to enter the table title assumptions in cell A22. So let's go to A22, type in assumptions. Then we want to enter the assumptions below A22. And you'll notice that if you're looking at your instructions, that all is at the top of the page. So we do units sold in prior year, 242, 847. Unit cost, 122.75. Annual sales growth, 3.5%. And I really should have put a dollar sign, so let's go ahead and do it. Annual price increase, 2.75%. Margin, 29.90%. Okay. Change the font size of the title to 14 point Aharoni and underline it. Now we want to select the range B4 through I-19. Oops, I-19, there we go. And click the number format dialog box to display the format cells dialog box. Use the number category to assign a number style with no decimal points, so 0 decimal points, and negative numbers enclosed in parentheses. And we do want a comma separator. Now it's time for us to start in year 1 sales. That is units sold in prior year. So we get that information, units sold in prior year. So that comes from B23. So we'll do equals B23, and then we touch the F4 key, times, I put my parentheses before I needed it, unit cost. Our unit cost is B24. So we say B24 and then tap the F4 key. So unit cost divided by, parentheses, 1 minus margin. And margin is B27. B27 F4. And then we follow that up with 2 parentheses since we are ending 2 different, this is 1 parentheses, the red, and the other one's in the black. And we hit enter. Year 2, which is C4, we have year 1 sales, so we want to get that. We want to say equals B4 times 1 plus annual sales growth. Ooh, I didn't see that I had done that. B4 times, that's what I meant to do, 1 plus annual sales growth is 3.5%, that's B25. So we want to say B25, but we actually want it to pull B25, so we need to make that an absolute reference. Times, into our parentheses, times, and do another parentheses, 1 plus annual price increase, and that is B26. B26, again, an absolute cell reference. End of parentheses. Hit enter. Copy cell C4 over to between D4 and I4, so we want to go ahead and copy that over. And you'll see that it changes G4, so it pulls from the previous year, but then keeps B25 and B26 accurate. Okay. Year 1 cost of goods. So now we're in B5. That is equal to year 1 sales. So where do we find year 1 sales? B4. So we want to do equal B4. And that is a relative because it's you're going to want to pull from the other stuff. As you copy, you'll want to update your information. You want that one to update. So you'll year 1 sales times 1 minus the margin, and the margin is B27, and that is an absolute cell reference. And we hit enter. We want to copy B5 over from C5 to I5. Now we're on B6, gross margin. Gross margin is figured by looking at year 1 sales minus year 1 cost of goods. So we want to equal B4 minus B5. That should change. Those references should update from year to year. So we'll hit enter. And then we want to copy. Now we want to go to B8 because B6 is simply, or B7, I'm sorry, that's just a title. So we want to actually go to B8. Year 1 advertising is equal to 1,500 plus 7.5% times year 1 sales, so that's B4, which I said. All right, that is a relative cell reference because we wanted to update each year, so we'll hit enter, and then we need to copy that across. Maintenance, year 1 is 500,000, year 2 is 625,000. Year 3 is 430,000. Year 4 is 525. Year 5 is 550. Year 6 is 450. Year 7 is 400,000. And year 8 is 400,000. Whoops. All right, so now we're over to rent. Year 1 is 1,050,000. Year 2 is the year 1 rent plus 6% times year 1 rent. So it's going to be B10 times, no, plus. So B10 plus 6% times year 1 rent, which is B10. Those are relative, so we don't need to pull that. We want that to update, so we can enter it. And then we're going to copy C, the formula in C, all the way over to I.